As the novel coronavirus continues to spread around the globe, it has continued to trigger unprecedented challenges and extreme strain on governments all over the world. Nigeria, and by extension Delta State as a member of the global community, has not been exempted from the harsh economic tension caused by COVID-19, especially due to the huge amounts of money doled out to establish treatment centers, provide personal protective equipment PPEs, medical supplies for health workers, and palliatives for Deltans. To continue in the fight against the virus and further minimize the progression of this pandemic, the Delta State government, just like other subnationals, appealed for support from well-meaning individuals and groups.
I'm appealing to wealthy Nigerians, particularly Deltans, to support the government in the fight against the coronavirus pandemic. Those who wish to make financial donations can contact any of these persons. My humble self, the Secretary to the State Government, the Commissioners for Finance and Health.
In response to this passionate plea, donations began to pour in as Shell Petroleum Development Company (SPDC) and Nigeria National Petroleum Corporation (NNPC), two organizations in the oil sector, pull their weight behind the state government by creating a joint venture to donate personal protective equipment PPEs, PCR machine, and series of medical consumables for the safety and productivity of health workers in the fight against the coronavirus disease.
We are responding to a pandemic, and as a caring company, we have to reach out to the country and especially our operating states in the Niger Delta. And we have been operating in Delta State for years, and we're a member of this community in the Niger Delta. So naturally, we intervene when such things like this, occur.
The equipments, particularly the PPEs and the test kits, will help in first testing, identifying those who are at risk, and of course, for the medical personnel who are the front line, it protects them from getting infected. So we are so grateful that corporate bodies are showing responsibility and joining hands with the state government to fight it.
Nigeria Center for Disease Control (NCDC) also made donations of temperature guns, hand sanitizers, soap, face shields, hand gloves, boot bags, and other protective gears that are known to be of utmost importance in managing the risk of the spread of the virus.
I must say we've been really impressed by the efforts of the governor, the government, the EOC, and the colleagues in Delta State, and their level of preparedness, both in terms of how you've handled cases you've had, but in your preparedness for cases to increase. Our role is to encourage, support every state in preparing. The success of NCDC, together with WHO, is are we serving the states optimally?
As WHO, we are here to support NCDC to ensure that what is recommended globally, we contextualize it to the country level, looking at capacities, looking at the risk. We scale up this process in a manner that the capacity in country can manage.
The records of the state government's responsibility and transparency in managing resources have earned the Okowa-led administration the trust of donors such as Victim Support Funds, VSF, a humanitarian organization, and Campaign Against COVID-19, CACOVID.
The government is definitely doing, some incredible work, which is why we chose Delta to come. I mean, there are a couple of states in the South, but Delta seems to be right on top of, taking very concrete action, not just talking about it.
We are presenting the medical PPEs in view of what we have realized the doctors and other medical professionals are doing in this field, especially in this fight towards eliminate COVID-19. In view of these contributions that they make, we should make our own donations on behalf of MPDC and management to Delta State government.
Company, they are sending this thing to boost and support the Delta State government. This will go a long way cushioning the effect of COVID-19.
It has become common knowledge that one of the ways to defeat the coronavirus disease is by early detection. As a result, public health officials are ramping up efforts to test more people and provide care for people who have contracted the acute respiratory illness. This has prompted the Okowa-led administration to collaborate with Irua Teaching Hospital and Pandora AidNet Consortium to install a testing facility in Asaba to fast-track diagnosis.
I want to assure Deltans and that as long as this lab is here, Pandora will be ready to support and to ensure that the lab functions to its maximum capacity.
This lab, as it's configured, can actually serve many states in the country because it has capacity to, at a go, 23 samples at once. And that's the procedure will last for, say, 5 to 6 hours. So if you work, let's say, twice a day, you'll be able to test up to about 46 samples. And the result will be at that same day. It can serve the South State and beyond.
Besides fast-tracking the testing of suspected cases, the provision of these testing labs have also helped to reduce the safety risk and cost of commuting test samples and suspected cases to Irua in Edo State.
The fact that we are testing here now means that we can test more persons, we can get our results faster, and we don't have to put people at risk of traveling from here to Edo State, Irua, to send samples. And of course, we also know that in the process of transportation, something could happen to these samples. So it's a good thing that we are testing here, and it has really helped us in getting accurate and timely results.
The exemplary commitment to issues of development, which stands Governor Ifeanyi Okowa out, among others, has also manifested in the state's fight against the spread of COVID-19. These rare commitments have probably propelled oil and gas industry operators in the Delta, such as Chevron, to donate medical consumables, vehicles for contact tracing, and ambulance used to convey patients to treatment centers.
At no time in our history is partnership between public and private sector so critical as now. We're handing over 1 ambulance plus ventilator, test kits, personal protective equipment, and medical consumables. We're also handing over 3 buses to support the contact tracing initiatives here in Delta State. We thank the Delta State government for the efforts in preventing the spread of coronavirus disease and for the continued support to our operations in the state.
Governor of Delta State, Senator Dr. Ifeanyi Okowa, and the people of Delta State, we would like to thank the NNPC Chevron joint venture for supporting us and partnering with us in the fight against COVID-19. So definitely the donation will go a long way in the work that we're doing. And we thank you very much for this, and also ask that you continue to support us in this fight against the COVID-19 pandemic.
Security agencies such as the Delta State Police Command have also done their bit in contributing towards the fight by providing face masks for offenders that have been caught in public places instead of penalizing them.
State government's directive, as well as even federal government directive, that people should begin to wear these face masks. So where we come across whoever does not have, instead of arrest and what have you, we started by issuing them free of charge. We too, we should contribute and emulate what the government is doing by giving to the society what the little that we have.
I'd like to use this opportunity to let everybody out there know that COVID-19 is not a death sentence and it is not contacted through any sexual act. So nobody needs to be stigmatized for having COVID-19.
My name is Ofre Okifo and I'm a COVID-19 survivor. COVID-19 is real, but it is not a death sentence. It is easily contractable. Please follow all the preventive measures and stop stigmatization.
I tested positive, I was hospitalized and treated, and I'm now out of it. I don't think there is any need to stigmatize anybody. It is not a disease that is gotten out of immorality, so there is no need for stigmatization. It should end.
The coronavirus is not a death sentence.
Let's end stigmatization.
End stigmatization.
End stigmatization in Delta, Nigeria.
End it in the world.
The Oni of Ife, led by the House of Oduduwa, has extended his hand of love to Delta State by donating motorized modular fumigation vans to rid the surrounding of any disease-causing germs and to minimize the spread of the pandemic in the state. A gesture so appreciated by the state government.
On behalf of His Imperial Majesty, we will bring this to Delta State. The pandemic of the COVID infection initiated the concept of the motorized modular fumigation by the House of Oduduwa Machine and Tools. The virus is transmitted, as we all know, through respiratory and droplets, which can also rest on surface and hours and be transmitted within ourselves. That's why he came with this innovation. It can be used in the environment like this, in the marketplace, in the churches.
This will go a long way in assisting us to do our job. We appreciate His Imperial Majesty for this good job. We are happy. In no time, you'll see us deploying this machine into work around the nook and cranny of the state.
As days and weeks have passed, there has been increase in the number of active cases. This steep rise, a sign of ongoing transmission, has propelled Governor Ifeanyi Okowa and other good-spirited private and public sector players to increase the state's carrying capacity for COVID-19 patients. The 100-bed space treatment center in Iseluku is one of the results of such collaboration.
This 100-bed isolation center is a partnership between the Delta State government and the National Youth Service Corps. I would like to thank the private sector coalition for COVID-19 for all that they've done, not just here, isolation center alone, but all the other support that they've given us as a state government.
The donation of a fully equipped 70-bed treatment center within the Stephen Keshi Stadium, Asaba, by the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation NNPC and Azienda General Italiana Petroli AGIP is another testimony of trust.
Formally commission the oil industry COVID-19 infrastructure project, the temporary isolation center at the Stephen Keshi Stadium, Asaba. So God be the glory.
We operate in the Niger Delta, Excellency. This is where the money comes from. This is where we produce oil from. So I say it's a deliberate strategy, Excellency. We decided to seed most of these projects in the Niger Delta. Our plan is to build permanent structure in the 6 geopolitical zones, at least 2 in each of the geopolitical zones. But to particularly build additional 2 in the Niger Delta. We are here to support you. I appreciate all the things that you are doing for us in this state. For the oil and gas industry, for NNPC in particular, we have the highest number of access in the country in this state.
We've been doing quite a lot to ensure that the oil companies in this state operate in a very peaceful environment as much as is possible. So we are happy that the oil industry is also coming in at a time of challenge. We want to appreciate you as Group Managing Director for being able to put up the various oil companies to come in support of not just the oil producing state, but in support of the entire nation, because we are very much aware that all states of the Federation are benefiting from this support facility that you've been able to bring together.
Curiosity got the better of the Smart Delta media team as we went ahead to visit some of the treatment facilities to find out what the donations of medical supplies means to health workers.
With the increased number of donations we've had so far,
I must say the donation of the two centers, the 100-bedded and the 70-bedded, have just come in so handy. A few weeks ago, we thought we were already at the peak until we then started doing a lot more tests, and we're doing a lot more tests in the community. We discovered that we already had a community spread. So them coming on board at this time has helped us manage our numbers even better. Even with the PPEs they've given us, almost all our workers going out in the community have what they need to wear for infection prevention and control while they're out there.
Another thing worthy of note is that individual living style and eating habits can boost immunity against COVID-19, and the people-oriented governor is mindful of this, as well as the welfare of his citizens. Prior to the ease of the lockdown, food banks were set up to cater for and mitigate the needs of the indigent, old and vulnerable groups who survive on daily income. Estimated food items and drugs worth billions of naira were distributed across the 3 senatorial districts by several committees set up with clear-cut directives on the efficient and fair disbursement of these palliatives in order to provide succor for the vulnerable people in Delta State.
May God bless the effort of the government and may his tenure be fruitful.
Dr. Ifeanyi Atokowa, he saw that the stay at home has brought some inconveniences, starvation to some other people, especially the less privileged, the vulnerables. And he made food available for us. Somebody who has done that is somebody who takes God first.
We want to really say a big thank you to His Excellency, because this is a big relief to them. It is a palliative, but of course it will go a long way in mitigating the hardship they are going through. You cannot take a census of the vulnerable. They are scattered everywhere in the communities, but with this, as President Generals, we will ensure that it gets to as many vulnerable people in our various communities as possible.
Smart Delta Media, as usual, visited some of the communities housing the beneficiaries of the palliatives distributed. Take a listen.
I'm very happy for having this thing because I don't have nothing doing. I'm not used to do business, nothing. God bless Governor Kowa.
I want to thank the government for presenting these goods for us. May the Lord bless him. The giver never lack. All over his life, he will move forward and his family will prosper in Jesus' name.
These food items is very okay for us. And we thank the governor for bringing us food. God will lift him up and give him a long life and prosperity.
Through the governor's ingenuity in tackling issues, the Okowa-led administration has continued to stockpile palliatives and medical supplies from donors since it has become apparent that the impact of the COVID-19 will linger a little longer.
On behalf of the victims of COVID-19 task force, we present this food item to you as a symbolic handover of the 154.5 million worth of donations that the victims of COVID-19 task force is making to Delta State government. We believe these food items will be handed over to poor and vulnerable families in Delta State.
For us in Heritage, we have come together to provide some palliatives in form of medical supplies, food items, to be able to support the various families at this time.
We've partnered well with the private sector. We thank them for all the support they've given us this period. And we hope that they will continue to support us, because this is something that it doesn't seem like there's an end date in sight. Now plans are being made for the second half of the year from July to December. So we are planning in the long term so that at least we can work very hard to contain the spread of the virus and at the same time to try and provide for Deltans.
One of such donors is Coalition Against COVID-19 CACOVID, an organization formed by a group of investors. CACOVID, at the forefront of palliative donations, has laid out truckloads of food items to assist the state government in providing palliatives for the vulnerable group during this fight against COVID-19.
I want to thank the Delta State government, Senator Ifeanyi Atokowa, for the effort they have made so far. Like what you are saying there, I guess it's going to be the second tranche of items that are going to be distributed to Deltans. The state government on its own has distributed palliative to Deltans, to the vulnerable groups.
must thank our governor, Ifeanyi Okowa, for his proactiveness and ensuring that the people are well taken care of. And then, in addition to that, the private sector, COVID, and other well-meaning Nigerians, religious bodies, corporate individuals, all of them put together. And government has actually worked out a way of appreciating all of them.
The state's First Lady, Dame Edith Okowa, through her O5 initiative, has made several donations both in cash and kind to further boost the efforts of the state government to mitigate the several challenges triggered by COVID-19.
Our Excellency Dame Edith Okowa, I want to appreciate her because this shows our passion for the people, our passion for the less privileged, because this initiative will speak of the fact that the government is not just there administratively, but they have passion to make sure that the people at the grassroots really are not in hunger.
The intervention is something that is very, very good. It shows how sensitive the government is, especially this one in particular, where Her Excellency called us, the different churches in our state, to come for something to give to the churches. And of course, the venerable, it will go a long way to help them.
I want to say this kind gesture is going to go a long way to assist a lot of people out there, because it's not really easy. And I also pray that God's grace will strengthen her to do more.
There are a lot of people and groups such as the State's College of Commissioners, the House of Assembly, and many more who have made financial donations to support the state's efforts at curbing the spread of the ravaging virus.
In Delta State, we're on top on the issue of this COVID-19. Preparation have been on ground before the final lockdown and all that. In all the 25 local governments, as legislation, we are supporting in all means. I have to commend my members in one way or the other. They've tried as much as possible to reach the people, because the people are the ones who elected us. It's not in party lines, it's all inclusive.
A combination of all these have led to positive results even in the midst of spiking numbers.
When God delivers you from some of illness, you have to give testimony. By giving testimony, you are creating awareness. But while I was in the isolation center, a lot of people were saying things about COVID-19 is not real. So I was looking, I said, these people are still in the dark. So I said I should go there, take it off myself to sacrifice, to create that awareness.
I must commend His Excellency, the Governor of Delta State, for putting in place a fantastic medical team and medical machinery to handle the incidence of COVID-19. I was hospitalized at the Federal Medical Center, Asaba. I was treated to first-class medical care. The isolation center, it is of world standard. And while I was there for 18 days, I felt that I was on medical vacation.
Time would fail us to recount here the tens of corporate organizations, privileged individuals and NGOs that have made monetary contributions that have been channeled by the state government to making more provisions of palliatives, medical equipment and other items as deemed fit towards a safer and stronger Delta.
We are happy the way the government of Delta State is fighting this pandemic. We reckon that the best thing to do is to identify with the state government and make this presentation to the government and the good people of Delta State under the auspices of Joe Biago's corporate bodies, but through the instrumentality of Asaba Development Union worldwide.
The donations keep coming in because they know the governor would actually take care of the people of Delta State. So in a special way also, I want to say thank you to everyone, both Deltans and non-Deltans, who have contributed in one way or the other to make sure that the people of Delta have good living this pandemic era that we are in.
We want to appreciate the NNPC, the oil sector entirely, the banking sectors, what they have done so far, their gift towards the COVID-19.
I want to say a very big thank you to Governor Okowa for everything he has been doing during this COVID-19 period. He's been trying his best and we want him to do more.
The age-long saying that while some grumble that roses have thorns, we are grateful that thorns have roses have been the expression of Deltans. Not a few have expressed their heartfelt gratitude to the state government and all noble donors for the tremendous effort and commitment in curtailing the ravaging pandemic and its impacts on residents of the state.
Delta State government is committed to building a stronger Delta. Whatever agitates your mind, ask it, and we will get you answers.
I would actually urge all Deltans and non-Deltans to continue to be in tune with the Smart Delta team because they're everywhere. It's important to get informed about what is going on in this state. If you're going to pass suggestions to us as government, your suggestions will be welcome. To know more about them, follow Smart Delta on their various links.
Send your questions to all our social media platforms with the hashtag #AskIt on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter, or text 0901 665 2274, airing on Channels TV, NTA Asaba, DBS, and DRT.
You better run, come to Delta State. Come and see the good things where Okowa they do. You better run, come to Delta State. Come and see the good things where Okowa they do. I see your job and work creation in Delta, make the youth say them higher. Okowa. I see good roads everywhere in Delta, make the people say them cola. Come live in Delta. Say me I say. Come invest in Delta. Come explore the potentials of our state.